We bring you the lunch edition of MBC News with me, Abale. Our headlines. President Mutharika and Madam Gertrude Mutharika expressed sadness over the tragic loss of 5 backing artists from the Njuchi band. In our feature this week, MBC looks at how fuel shortages severely affected health delivery services in the country. And Mighty Wanderers to officially be crowned 2025 TNM Super League champions this afternoon. And now the news in detail. President Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika and the First Lady, Madam Gertrude Mutharika, have expressed deep sorrow over the death of 5 artists from the Hive Band who were involved in a fatal road accident while traveling to a show for Afro-dance artist Njuchi. The President has described the deaths of Elivasi Matamandomuyava, Wilfred Kabengule Jr., Vincent Nkwinda, McFarlane Banda, and Raphael Chitsonga as a devastating loss to the country's music industry, noting that the artists played a significant role in shaping Malawi's cultural landscape. Professor Mutharika says the tragedy is not only a blow to the bereaved families, Njuchi and the Musicians Association of Malawi, but also to the country as a whole, as the artists lost their lives while heading to perform at an end-of-year concert in Lilongwe. As a sign of national mourning, the President has announced that government will meet all funeral expenses to ensure the departed artists are laid to rest in dignity. He has since conveyed heartfelt condolences to the families, friends and the entire creative industry, assuring them of government's solidarity during this difficult time. While millions around the world celebrate Christmas and the New Year in the comfort of their homes, thousands of refugees and asylum seekers at Zachitika refugee camp mark the festive season far away from their countries of origin. Our reporter Jinsisi Moyo takes us to Zachitika refugee camp, where faith, culture and hope come together this festive season.
These songs may sound familiar, enjoyed in our homes and churches during Christmas and New Year festivities. But this is not any ordinary village setting or township. This is Zachitika refugee camp, home to thousands of people who fled conflict and persecution in their home countries. For many refugees here, the festival season is both a celebration and a painful reminder of what they have lost.
Living with people who have been going through a lot, I must say the experience is resilience, patience, encouraging, because you'll never understand what someone is going through if you have never gone through the same kind of thing. So Christmas in this place, it means a lot in a way that where people they take it as a very festival day. Kids want to be entertained, people want to show their talent, and they just want to be free. So Christmas in Zachitika, it's something more meaningful that bring more momentum memories.
During this season, families gather in churches where meals are simple and often shared among neighbors. Children perform songs learned in camps, while parents bow their heads in prayer, asking for peace and a better future. Maurice Banda, senior pastor at Adonai Ministries, a Pentecostal church in the camp, says festive sermons focus largely on hope.
We make sure that we teach them on how they should depend on God and they should forget all those problems that they went through.
Young people in the camp say they celebrate Christmas because it reminds them that tomorrow can be better. They say, unlike in their home countries, the festive season in Malawi is peaceful.
Here in Malawi is a peaceful country. We celebrate with enjoying, with no stress. More than in DRC, the children don't celebrate Christmas because there are many trouble. But here in Malawi, we have that opportunity because we live here with hope.
Here in Malawi, I see like most people are happy when this day happened. But in there, I see everyone, we used to be alone, something like that. But here is like we are family. We used to cook food together, to eat together, something like that.
For children born in the camp, this is the only festive season they have ever known. Donatieni Fundi from Art for Hope, an initiative based in Zachitika, brought together children on Christmas Day to share food, clothes and toys. Fundi says the initiative ensures that children in the camp have access to nutritious meals and a sense of joy during the festive season.
This is a community whereby resources are scarce, which means there's not enough food for everyone to eat. So people, they are suffering to secure a meal. If they are not able to secure just a single meal for the normal days, now when it is coming for Christmas, this is too challenging for them. And that's why we try to do one of the activities to assist this community for those who cannot afford to have any meal at Christmas.
Humanitarian organizations say such celebrations play a vital role in healing trauma and restoring dignity. As part of marking the season, UNHCR has constructed 82 new houses for refugees, helping relocate families who were previously living in tents. Jean Zabibu, 32, has been in the camp for just 7 months. She's among those allocated one of the new houses. She says the home offers privacy, protection from the rains, and a sense of stability, a perfect Christmas gift. As Malawi celebrates the festive season, refugees at Zachitika say inclusion and kindness matter more than gifts. Far from their homes they left behind, refugees here remind us that Christmas is not defined by place but by hope. And in this camp, hope is still alive. Chinsisi Moyo, MBC News, Zachitika Refugee Camp, Doha.
Paramount Chief Kiungo of Karonga and Chitipa has urged people in the country to celebrate the festive season with love, peace and unity. Speaking from his royal palace in Karonga, Kiungo called on Malawians to use the festive season to reflect on harmony and strong relationships within families and communities. Rodoviko Nyirenda has more.
Christmas is a Christian day commemorating the birth of Jesus Christ, who is believed to be the Savior. It is a time of worship, prayer, and reflection of the values of love, hope, and peace. Realizing the significance of the occasion, in terms of Atemi Kiungo has called upon Malawians to celebrate responsibly and promote a spirit of peace and unity for the betterment of society.
People in Chitipa and Karonga let us be prayerful, let us be united, let us love one another, respect one another, care for one another, for peace. And the same applies to our country at large. We must love one another, respect one another, care for one another.
Member of Parliament for Karonga South, Duncan Kawonga, cheered patients in various health facilities across his constituency to demonstrate care and appreciation. Kawonga also distributed 15 cattle in various zones in his constituency as one way of thanking the people in the constituency for voting him during the 16th September general election.
We were at Chilumba Rural Hospital, then we went to St. Anne's Health Center, then we went to Sangiro Health Center, then we were at Lueja, just to show our love. It's a copyright from Jesus Christ, because he showed us a big love.
Officer in charge at Fuliwa Health Center, Lewis Kamwera, said the visit was crucial as it has given an opportunity to express problems that they face at the health center. Christmas promotes kindness, charity, and giving, values that many Malawians continue to display through donations, gifts, and acts of love. Rodoviko Nyirenda, MBC News, Karonga.
Mzuzu City South-East Member of Parliament William Kaweche has called on block leaders in the city to understand and adhere to local government guidelines in order to effectively drive development initiatives. The remarks made during a day-long elective meeting for block leaders in the city come as councils in the country are about to start implementing various development projects courtesy of the recently hiked Constituency Development Fund. Tamvani has more in this report.
The recently hiked Constituency Development Fund, CDF, from 220 million kwacha to 5 billion kwacha presents an opportunity for unprecedented infrastructural development across the country. However, adequate knowledge and capacity among various levels of governance structure are key if meaningful development is to be achieved. This is why Member of Parliament and ward councillors from Zuzu City Southeast constituency convened a capacity-building meeting for block leaders from the constituency aimed at enhancing the understanding of local government operations and development planning. Speaking during the training, Member of Parliament for the constituency, William Kaweche, said block leaders have a critical oversight role to play in development projects.
Me as an MP, I cannot work alone. I have to work with them. So before getting to ground, we have to know each other. We have to know the problems of our people in the community. Then it's when we can see where to head to. That's why today, this morning, we are here just to know each other and to see the way forward. How can we handle our community people?
In his remarks, Msongwe Ward Councillor Francis Chirambo commended the initiative, saying it aligns with Malawi 2063 development agenda.
Normally when block leaders are chosen, are elected by the council, they do not have the capacity in terms of knowing their roles and responsibilities. So we have invited an expert in that who has drilled them on their roles pertaining to the Local Government Act and other instruments like Malawi 2063, as well as the Malawi Strategic Development plans.
And one of the participants to the training, Senior Block Leader Gideon Kaira of Msongwe, expressed gratitude for the training, saying it will strengthen grassroots leadership and improve service delivery across the constituency and the city at large. Tamvani, MBC News, Mzuzu.
You're watching the lunch edition of MBC News. A reminder of our top stories. President Mutharika and Madam Gertrude Mutharika expressed sadness over the tragic loss of 5 backing artists from the El Njuchi band. In our feature this week, MBC looks at how fuel shortages severely affected health delivery services in the country. And Mighty Wanderers to officially be crowned 2025 TNM Super League champions this afternoon. Welcome back. Quality health service delivery in Malawi is crucial for tackling high disease burdens like HIV/AIDS, malaria, maternal issues, reducing preventable deaths, improving quality of life, and achieving universal coverage. And this is according to Malawi government. But what is the practical solution on the ground on the policy? Our reporter Rodoviko Nyirenda appreciated the operations of some health centers in the northern region in connection to the matter and has filed this report.
Chitimba Health Center in Irumpi district serves a catchment population of over 6,000 people. In my interaction with the chairperson of the facility, Henry Muntali, it transpired that the health center is facing a number of challenges to provide quality health care services, one of them being related to patient referrals. Muntali said this prompts some guardians to use their personal resources to save lives of their patients. He further said the situation has been common in the recent years when fuel was scarce, and it has turned to be a routine in the district.
Rumpi, in most cases, they don't have fuel. Now for the patients to wait for the fuel, they'll prefer getting their own means of transport. Okay? So which is more like they also pay when they are referred to Rumpi.
Chirumba Community Hospital in Karonga is also facing a similar challenge. Sarome Mutavari and Gloria Singini, who are members of Health Center Management Committee, said the situation is negatively affecting provision of health services at the hospital. Both of them further said the facility is mostly being supported by members of parliament of Karonga South constituency, Duncan Kawonga, when it comes to referrals to Karonga District Hospital.
Whereby they hire the taxis to go to Karonga. Just sometimes it is dangerous because, especially when it's a maternity case. We are lucky just because of this time we have got the MP, Mr. Duncan Kawonga, who has been helping us to provide the fuel and even the vehicles.
What we say means that the government has to do something than depending on MPs when it comes to referrals.
But what are the responses from Rumpi District Hospital? Esumukamanga is the public relations officer for Rumpi District Hospital.
As you are also aware, it happens that we don't have fuel sometimes in farms. So when we don't have fuel, which is diesel, and our ambulances uses diesel. So sometimes such situations, whenever we experience such situation, that's another scenario when patients maybe the guardian to the patients are also requested to assist in terms of transportation.
Director of Health and Social Services for Karonga District Council, David Siware, said the council is aware of the challenges and it is devising ways to address them.
As you may recall, until last month or so, we were having fuel challenges. So what was happening was that whenever fuel is available at the pump, we were making sure that an ambulance is available at Chirumba and Kaporo. The other challenge that we were facing at times was that the fuel that we have planned for a month, if it happens to finish before another ORT funding, then we were facing some challenges.
Chairperson for the Parliamentary Committee on Health, Anthony Masamba, said the committee will come up with measures to improve services in order to achieve quality health service delivery in the country.
I think as a country now, what we want to see is to see the locally generated solutions towards funding towards health sector. We need to start looking at how, as a country, can generate income that can directly go to health sector for improved health service delivery. So if we do that, I think the problems that are there, the problems of scarcity of fuel, the problems of a lack of transportation or adequate transportation from district hospitals to referral hospitals will be addressed.
After the 2025 September general election, there has been improvement in fuel supply in the country, giving hope to Malawians that lives of many patients will be saved once there is need to provide referral services from health facilities. Rudovico Nyerenda, MBC News, Muzuzu.
Social commentators and some religious leaders say the high rate of divorce among couples is a high cause for concern, as it shows that people nowadays do not value the sanctity of marriage. Recent reports indicate that 90% of divorce petitions over the past 4 years involve couples aged between 20 and 35. Austin Fukula reports.
Some say love is beautiful and forms the foundation of marriage. For Christians and Muslims, believers exchange vows when getting married. The vows mean till death do us apart. However, in modern times, despite making these vows, marriages are easily broken and do not last long, as Reverend Yasin Gama of Mvama Church of the Central African Presbyterian CCP in Lilongwe puts it. He describes the divorce rate as a crisis, saying people in the 21st century no longer value marriage as was the case in the past.
But one of the factors is that people do not value marriage. We have come to a point where we are looking at marriage as something that is temporal. It is unless we begin to understand why God first instituted marriage as the first institution on earth, then we shall begin to value marriage as something that is very important in our life, as a social, as a community, as a church, and even as a nation.
Sharing similar concerns is a pastor from Seventh-day Adventist Church based in Kawale District, Ernest Konje. He cites the use of social media, infidelity, lack of perseverance, lack of financial disclosure in marriages, and communication breakdown as some of the key factors leading to divorce. The pastor told this reporter that in the past, out of 10 weddings he officiated, 8 marriages would last, but these days, only 2 withstand the test of marriage.
I have experienced the past. I remember the time I was also proposing. We used to write letters. Today we don't do that. People just talk on the phone and an issue is over. Things have changed. Technology has played a very big role. Same technology has destroyed marriages. But the same technology is good. Social media, it may also be good. But same social media has destroyed marriages.
A social commentator and marriage counselor, Castro Nkanda, argues that although this generation lives in the information age, it is missing some of the knowledge that the older generations had. He says many couples spend more time preparing for wedding events but fail to prepare for married life.
There is something that we don't know in our generation which our forefathers used to. Now I'll give you an example. We are a very emotional culture. A very emotional culture, people using their phones instead of connecting, people going by what they see, not what they are supposed to be. So the foundation of marriages in our days is centered on emotions. How is my partner making me feel? So it's centered on activity. How is he making me feel? How is she making me feel? But marriages has got less to do with how we feel. So
with the current divorce rate, church leaders suggest that the clergy and church leadership need to do more in providing marriage counseling to both young and old couples as a way of changing the status quo in the country. Austin Fugula, MBC News, Lilongwe.
The Christian Health Association of Malawi, CHAM, has reaffirmed its commitment to supporting the country's health sector in a bid to improve healthcare service delivery among Malawians. The commitment was made during a symbolic handover ceremony of assorted medical items donated to government hospitals. We have a report by Mpatso Mataya, read in our studios by Madaliso Mhango.
Speaking at the ceremony, CHAM representative Dr. Annie Poya said the donation is intended to support government efforts amid the continued shortage of essential medical supplies and the prevailing economic challenges facing the country. She further urged the beneficiary hospitals to ensure the donated items are properly taken care of and used strictly for the benefit of patients.
I know it is critical that not all times that the facilities have all the things that they need, because we are aware that there's always financial challenges, both for government and even in the private sector. So it is not uncommon to go to a health facility and find that the necessary medicines that are required by the clinicians, the doctors, the nurses, the midwives are not available. So the patients are always asked to go and buy these medicines for themselves. And sometimes, especially in the rural areas, you find that these people that we advise to go and buy the medicines may not have the money. So as a result, they just go home, probably buy a Panadol somewhere, and pray to God that they will get better. So we know that it is a challenge. That's why we thought we needed to share the little that we have. We are expecting that the government health facilities, for example, Baira, Kamzu Central, Ncheu, where these things are going to go to, and St. John's, they will be good and faithful duty bearers. These things are meant for the patients, and we are hoping that they will go to the patients.
Representing the beneficiary institutions, Dr. Caroline Marwanda, Deputy Director at Kamuzu Central Hospital, expressed gratitude for the donation. She appealed for continued support, noting that public hospitals are receiving an increasing number of patients daily.
As a hospital, we are grateful
because as you know, we're a public institution and we depend on government funds. So government funds are not enough. So every day we need these commodities. So by CHAM giving us these commodities today, it has eased us a lot. And now we're getting towards this rainy season. We have already heard about the cholera cases. So like the shoe covers, the gowns which we are receiving, they will also help in managing these emergencies in our facilities.
The donated assorted medical items valued at 203 million kwacha include medicines, protective clothing, chairs, bicycles, and other supplies. Beneficiary institutions include Kamu Central Hospital, Lilongwe Decho, Ncheu District Hospital, and St. John of God Hospital.
And now finally in sports, Mighty Wanderers will officially be crowned the 2025 TNM Super League champions when the season comes to an end this afternoon. Wanderers face Kamuzu Barracks at Bingu National Stadium in Lilongwe, a match which will be broadcast live here on MBC. Norbert Jameson reports.
Wanderers won the title last weekend with a match to spare to clinch their first league success since 2017. The Nomads will be handed the league trophy after their match against Kamuzu Barracks, whose result will not change anything. Meanwhile, club president Dr. Tom Pinganjira has rewarded the players and coaches with 45 million kwacha, with each player pocketing 1 million kwacha, while head coach Bob Pinganjira will get 1.5 million kwacha. Pinganjira says he is excited for the players and fans for ending an 8-year championship drought.
Me personally, I don't have much in terms of emotions. But what I find very exciting is for our supporters and our players. When the supporters have suffered for a long time. So I'm excited for the players and for the supporters. For me, I'm not excited because it's money. So there's no excitement for me, but I'm excited that the players and the supporters are very happy.
All the other Super League teams are also in action this afternoon to conclude a season which kicked off on 5 April. FC Binyasa Big Bullets and Silver Strikers are battling for second position as they are currently level on 63 points but separated on goal difference. 6 teams are in the race for a top 8 finish with 3 slots yet to be filled. The last relegation candidate will also be known today as Nzuzu City Hammers look the more likely to follow Mighty Tigers and Songwe United. To survive the chop, Hammers must beat Bullets by at least a 10-goal margin and hope that the Dynamos and Mafco both lose their matches. The 2025 TNM Super League season has seen it all: the joy, the tears, the beauty, the drama, the controversy, shocks and upsets. But after all is said and done, football has remained the overall winner. Norbert Jameson, MBC Sports.
Well, that item concludes this edition of MBC News. A reminder of our top stories before we leave. President Mutharika and Madam Gertrude Mutharika expressed sadness over the tragic loss of 5 backing artists from the El Njuchi band. In our feature this week, MBC looks at how fuel shortages severely affected health delivery services in the country. And Mighty Wanderers to officially be crowned 2025 TNM Super League champions this afternoon. Visit our digital platforms by scanning the QR code at the top right corner of your TV screen, or get the latest news by subscribing to SMS services by dialing *364#. You are with me, Abale. Many thanks for watching. Good afternoon.